Imagine life as a game. If life is a game, there are some people that are playing this game to win, while there are others that are playing the game to continue the play. Those that are playing the game to win, like you can imagine, they are focused, always chasing the finish line. They are serious. They're playing it. They're always very serious. Whereas those that are playing the game so that the game can continue, they are learning as the game progresses. They are curious, always asking questions. They are happy. They are taking the game as it goes. Now, this is where you come in. The question that I want to ask you now is the obvious question. Which game are you playing in this game of life? Are you playing to win, or are you playing to continue the play? Now, in this video, we are going to be diving into a profound philosophical concept that was introduced by James P. Carse when he wrote the book titled The Finite vs. the Infinite Game. This concept was also popularized by Simon Sinek in his book that was specifically on the infinite game, where he propounded or explained that it is better to be playing an infinite game, especially in the segments of life such as business and family and leadership and so on. So that's what we'll be trying to do in this video. We're trying to make you see that the infinite game is a better game for you to play. So we'll be doing this by looking at the characteristics of both. That is the characteristics of this game in terms of the player now, because this game has profound characteristics that it projects on the players. So looking at the characteristics of this game from the perspective of the players of both, we'll be looking at the characteristics of both finite and infinite games, and at the end of it all, we will be leaving you to make the choice to decide whether it is still better to be playing a finite game or it will be better for you to switch to an infinite game. So welcome to this video, and if this is your first time on my channel, you are welcome. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you comment in the comment section whether you are playing a finite or an infinite game, or whether you would like to play a finite or an infinite game. Okay, if you would like to play the infinite game, you stick around to the end of this video, and by which time I would have showed you 5 things that you need to do, 5 characteristics or 5 things that you need to implement in your life so that you can be playing the infinite game. So make sure you stay tuned. Now, let's just look at the background, or what you can call the core ideas. James Carse opened his book with a bombshell when he just went ahead to declare that there are at least 2 types of games. One is the finite and the other is the infinite game. He went on to say that the finite game is played for the purpose of winning, and the infinite game is played for the purpose of continuing the play. Let's just go straight to look at the characteristics of these games, the finite and the infinite game. So now let's talk about the finite game. The characteristics of the finite game includes the presence of only known players. So in the finite games, the players are known and they are fixed. A new player cannot join. You understand? And the rules that governs the finite game are fixed. Fixed rules, known players. And the finite game has a clear beginning and a clear ending. And I think the main characteristics of finite game that sets it apart is that at the end of the game there is a clear winner and a clear loser. Remember, the purpose of the finite game is to win. So that finite game is played to get a winner at the end. Understand? If you remember zero-sum game. Okay? So examples of finite game, as you would guess, now the normal games you play like chess, football, all those games, you shouldn't really be doing life like those type of games. You understand? Let's quickly talk about the characteristics of the infinite games, and they include known or unknown players. So in the infinite game, the infinite game includes both known and unknown players. So it means that as the game progresses in an infinite game, new players can join. So the infinite game is actually welcoming. That's just one of the characteristics of an infinite game. Other includes that the rules can be changed. So the player is not really bothered about the change of rules. In an infinite game, the player adjusts. You understand? And the infinite game, seeing that the players in the infinite game play the game to continue the play, it lets you see that there is really no fixed end to an infinite game, which allows for multiple turns. And the multiple turns in this infinite game makes players to be at ease. Perhaps the most important characteristics of this infinite game is the fact that at the end there are no ultimate winners or losers. That's not the purpose of the game at all. Don't forget, in a finite game, at the end someone climbs the podium to receive the award, but in an infinite game, that's not the purpose of an infinite game. The purpose of an infinite game is to continue the play. Now, what are the examples of this infinite game? Marriage. Are you listening? Marriage, family, leadership, friendship. These are examples of infinite games. So you don't go into things like friendship for the purpose of winning. You go into friendship for the purpose of continuing the play. Now, still looking at the characteristical differences of the finite and the infinite game, it is very important for you to know, when you are looking strictly at the rules of the games, the rules of a finite game are externally defined. The world, your environment, they shape the rule for you, and you're bound by the rules. You follow those rules. But the rules of infinite game, they are internally defined. As the game progresses, you on your own part, you join in modifying the rules of an infinite game. So an infinite game is not rigid. Still looking at the characteristics of the finite game and the infinite game. This time, we want to look at reactions of the players themselves. Now, as you are talking about all these things, just look within yourself and ask yourself what game you're actually playing in life. So, once we're looking at the reactions of the players themselves, and we are going to look at these reactions in three categories. We're going to look at it in terms of surprise, in terms of boundaries, and in terms of attitude. Now, the first, surprise. In a finite game, surprise is the enemy. The players in the finite game are trained against surprise. Remember, in the finite game, you want to win, so you don't want anything to spoil your chances of winning at all. So you want to control everything. So surprise is the enemy in a finite game. But in an infinite game, surprise is not the enemy. Surprise is a friend. And that is why James Carse said in his book, to be prepared against surprise is to be trained. But to be prepared for surprise is to be educated. What does that mean? It's trying to say that finite players needs training. Infinite players needs education. Let's bring this into perspective with an example. Now, if you recall the COVID-19 pandemic, I think that was in year 2020. It was a surprise. You see, it was a surprise. Now, presently, scientists today are trained against that particular surprise because they don't want COVID-19 to be a surprise to them anymore. You get? So once there's a case of COVID-19 presently, I believe it will not be a shock. They would know exactly how to handle it. But you see, the first case, the first time when that COVID-19 came, that's where infinite players thrive. They want to understand it. They want to break. The finite players, they will be scared at what's going on. But infinite player, curious, will be examining it, will be breaking it down, will be understanding the new surprise. You get it now? So that's the main difference between finite players and infinite players in terms of surprise. Finite players, they are scared of surprise, but infinite players, they take surprise as a storm that propels them further. Now, the next characteristics or the next differentiation is boundaries. When it comes to boundaries, finite players, they play within the boundaries of the game. So they play inside the boundaries. But infinite players, on the other hand, play with the boundary. So they try to examine the boundary, expand the boundary, bend the boundary, shape the boundary. So the boundary is a tool for infinite players, but for finite players, the boundaries are a cage. Do you get it? Now, the next one is attitude. You would have guessed already. The attitude of a finite player will be serious, focused. They are always trying to chase the finish line after all. But just the attitude of an infinite player will be intrigued, joyous, exploring. So those are the three main characteristics. And just keep asking yourself, what game am I playing at the moment? What game do I really want to be playing in life? And start making your decisions. Let's bring it home and look at areas, specific areas where we can apply the concepts of the finite and the infinite game. Simon Sinek was very particular about business. He described business as the ultimate infinite game. Now, He said, in business, there are no real winners or losers. He explained that in business, companies do not beat the market forever. And he described it by saying that they either keep adapting, and not just in business, but also in life generally, in everything that we do generally. The watchword by which by this time we should all know is adaptation. If you are not ready to adapt, you are going to drop out. You are going to drop out. So you need to be flexible enough. Don't see these changes as challenges. See these changes as the wind that propels you to the next stage. See these changes that you need to adapt to with the mind of an infinite player. Now, I told you that if you stay to the end of the video, I will show you or tell you about 5 practices that you need to add to your game in order to play the infinite game. Now, these 5 practices can be found in Simon Sinek's book. If you have not read that book, please you can go ahead and read it. So I will list them and explain them individually. So in order to be playing an infinite game in your relationship with anybody, you need to incorporate these 5 things, or these 5 qualities into your relationship. The first is just cause. There must be a just cause. You must have a just cause for whatever game you are playing. Number 2 is trust. Number 3 is worthy rivals. I'm going to explain them, just get them down. And then the 4th one is existential flexibility. And the 5th, but not the least, is courage to lead. So when you join these 5 qualities together, you'll be able to play an infinite game in your life. So you need a just cause in whatever you're doing. You must let people know that you must have a kind of a relationship where people know that this is not just about money, or this is not just about what you can gain. One quality is trust. You must provide a safe environment where anyone can be vulnerable, admit mistakes, and support each other. After all, it's an infinite game. There are so many turns and no one is perfect. So you must be able to let people see that that's the kind of environment that you are building. An environment that is founded upon trust, real trust, not politics. Okay. Now the 3rd is, like we stated before, is worthy rivals. You need to stop hating competitors. It's very, very important. Instead of hating them, learn from them, study them, make them make you better. The 4th is existential flexibility. You must realize that there is no real boundaries. You must realize that what will undo our boundaries is the awareness that it is our vision and not what we are viewing that is limited. You must get that awareness that it is the way you are seeing that is limited, not what you are seeing. In that way, you'll be able to incorporate the mindset of an infinite player. The 5th, but not the least, is the courage to lead. especially if you are going to build trust among your team, especially if you are going to build trust among the people that you are playing this game of life with. You have to have the courage to lead. It means you have to have the courage of being the first to act, of breaking the ice, of going first. You must have the courage to do that. So if you put all these things together, the courage to lead, to show people that what you are doing is a just cost, not just for what you can gain and so on, to show when you can able to show the people that there's trust, that you are building an environment where there's trust, where if you are able to see competitors as worthy rivals and not enemies, if you have existential flexibility where you can see boundaries as tools, boundaries of life as tools to play with, I think you are one step closer to playing an infinite game. So ask yourself right now, which game are you playing? Which game are you playing? In your relationship, are you playing to win, or you are playing to continue the play? In your business, are you being innovative? Are you trying to serve your customers better, or are you playing just to win? Ask yourself, which game do you really want to be playing? And keep this in mind, that you can play a finite game inside an infinite game, but you can never play an infinite game inside a finite game. What I'm trying to say is that the ideas that governs an infinite game can be applied to finite games, but you can never apply the ideas of a finite game to an infinite game, because once there is selfishness, it's no longer an infinite game. There will no longer be trust, and once trust is broken, you are no longer playing an infinite game with anybody, with any relationship that you are in. So don't forget to like this video, just short video. See you next time. We'll talk about something else.